Dude, I keep effing up the same video. Guess what? My data, these uploads work better for me on data. So I can actually do this, except I was trained to not be on camera. I don't like being on camera. I like to write. But I like speeches, I like presentations. This is a mangled mess. And since I tried to already make this video, I keep jumbling it just a little bit. But I'm gonna go and give her a go here. You know what I should do is check off some of these bullet points. Well, I don't have a pen. Writer without a pen, what the hell? So I want to say this. Are you ready for war? Are you ready for war? That's how I was gonna open her up. I don't want you to say yes. Why would you say that? Not just war, crises in general, hardship in general. What would make you say yes? Are you an Iraq War veteran? Well, I am, and I wouldn't say that shit. It would be I don't know, your preparedness. You must consider that you're meeting what will be required of you through your forethought. But this might mean you think that weapons are going to do it, and ammunition, and a bunker would be great, and then canned food and MREs, right? What about the constitution of your character? So it's the same as always. Why do we reject high performers in the workplace? Not why, but we do reject high performers in the workplace. Not just the workplace. I insist it's probably the family, the workplace, the church, and the school. Those four places mostly, but really any place that we gather, that's the person who's going to get it. And you want to know what's effed up about that? It's the person in adjustment. They seem weak. They're not weak. You're not weak if you're able to adjust to others. In fact, what makes a human being fit? What is the fitness of a human being? It is like your adaptability, man. I would say reason, but it's the good that you have in your reason is that it makes you adaptable. We are this adaptive creature. Meanwhile, we have people who totally claim their strength on basically sheltering themselves from ever needing to adjust to others, and they might be so damn privileged that they can count on others to adjust to them. And they look dominant, they look fit. But strip away their title and I don't know, push them into a homeless shelter and see how they might break. So there are those who volunteer themselves for the cognitive dissonance. They challenge their preconceptions, you know? This is what honesty actually looks like. People, they subject themselves to some guilt, you know? But if it's less dependent on your what you got for weaponry and cover and shelter, um, to be ready for crises would more so depend upon the constitution of your character. If I lift a lot of weights, I'm gonna look like I struggle under this weight. If you don't fucking lift that shit, you might look already strong because you're not struggling. I think it's kind of the same. In fact, I know that that's kind of how it works for your amygdala. Like, you should stress yourself. I try to do it ahead of time. I know my grandmother will die. And, I break myself in for it. I pay seriousness ahead of time. I bend, and then I don't break. So, I would never say that I'm ready for a situation that I've not faced. That mother effing guy, Alex Jones, he got in trouble for that stuff he was saying about like Sandy Hook and stuff. Like, I think he called it a hoax or something like that. But no one made a fuss about this, and I don't know if he said it about Sandy Hook. But he said it about one of these shootings. There's too many of these. There didn't used to be so many. There were always firearms, but there weren't this many shootings. So what has happened? What has happened? The weapons were there. Why are we doing this? Why has this happened? When I was in 7th grade, I remember it was the only thing I ever heard of. I think that these two boys, I think it was a BB gun, they pulled a fire alarm and they waited outside and started picking off their classmates. I had never heard of it. And then after that came Columbine. And then after Columbine came Virginia Tech, and in between and since then, countless effing shootings. But Alex effing Jones said about one shooting or another, he says, well, I would have bull rushed the guy. Okay? What an ignorant fucking thing to say. Oh yeah, I guess those people who got shot should have done like you would have done. What a dick. But I didn't hear anybody make a fuss about that, but I really hated when he said that. And I also think that's the mother effing guy who probably would not bull rush the guy. I think that the person who says that is more, ignorant fucking idiot. No imagination for war. Do you know what war would look like on your turf? Broken fucking buildings everywhere. I hope it don't come to that. There was a fucking guy that I worked with who, it was this nasty ass job, man. It was like you only see on TV. Like, it was so cluttered, and it was just a disaster. This woman got evicted, and I thought maybe she trashed the place, but there's no way. You would have to be trashing it for weeks to get it like that. There was like garbage bags everywhere, and diapers. She must have had a kid even, like old diapers and old garbage bags just everywhere. You couldn't walk anywhere. It was a cleanup job, But the guy said, the guy who was hiring for this job, he said, because it was 2020, leading up to the election, everything's on fire in this country, and he says, I'm thinking about moving into the woods and just booby trapping the shit out of them. And I shared this with someone who I know, and he goes, well, it's good that people are starting to think that way. No imagination for war. You know who's ready for war? Fucking Marines. Even if they're not, look, I like the other service members too, but Marines, even if they didn't deploy, they're really battle ready because they can't say or do the wrong effing thing. Like the recruit, this time when we were taking a knee, listening to the drill instructor, and something fell from high up. Something fell from a light post or something, like a light bulb or something fell. It was strange. And he turned his head away from the drill instructor to look, and the drill instructor's like immediately like, you had to fucking look, didn't you? Marines have this impulsiveness trained out of them, and they adjust to the situation as it is. I feel like, here, wait, let me actually consider these notes. I keep glancing down, but I'm not actually reading them. So anyhow, forethought. Well, no, I will stay on that. There are things that don't serve you. It's not going to help you pay damn attention to what you need to pay attention to at this time, to consult this information about what fell from the fucking telephone pole. It's irrelevant for what you're doing right now, and that's what they train into you. So anybody who maybe feels real proud of how strong they look because of their sheltered situation, because stability has become a goal. Those who enjoy it are only getting good at not becoming adaptable. Those who are adaptable are really at a disadvantage for needing to adjust, I think of veterans, immigrants, and ex-convicts. There's a lot of talent and a lot of potential in those people just for going through what they've gone through. But they get overlooked because this person's been here for 25 years, Not that in the context of whatever that position might be, surely there's some fitness that comes along with it for that specific niche, but I don't know, to claim competency just for being able to shelter yourself that's just too easy a way out, So, what would I say? What is the point of all this shit? Did I get all these? Oh, okay. I deployed, and my attitude about it was I wasn't asking to go, And I would not ever cower out of that because I did sign up and say, I'll do what I'm ordered to do. So I did get the order to go, but I also had a friend who was like gung ho to go, wanted to like get into the shit and stuff. So I had my own experience that was like startling. It put me through a lot of cognitive dissonance as a young person. It was a goofball, man. But early on, 13 months we got there, and we're getting mortared a lot. And I had been told by someone who had a previous deployment a few years before that all these mortar rounds drop in the middle of nothing because it's a big ass air station. Well, it's a few years after that guy deployed, and now I'm over there thinking that's how it's gonna be, and they got better intel, and they know how to shoot their mortar rounds a little better, and they're trying to hit the building right next to us, and they're getting closer and closer, and you wonder, 13 months of this, somebody around here is gonna die, and we did get the surge and pretty much, put the kibosh on a lot of the insurgency violence in that area. But I also had a friend killed himself. He was a friend from school, killed himself while I was over there. That hit me hard. But then we also had this truck bomb. So I don't know, at a young age I was coming into contact with my mortality, but in a way, I wasn't exposed to too much danger, but I was certainly exposed to a lot of the consequences of it. I was on the roads a lot too, but we never got blown up, And there was so much extra driving on we would go around the lake the long way and turn what would have been a 20-minute trip into a 4-hour trip just because we think we're being unpredictable, I guess. You figure that's only exposing you to more risk, but there was this truck bomb, and this put me through an adjustment because it's my job to take pictures. I remember this man, he was outside of a surgical ward, his wife and kid were in there, and taking pictures of him like weeping. And then these are always the two things I remember. This woman getting carried on a gurney, holding a boy, and I think he was bleeding. I couldn't tell who was bleeding, but she had her burqa on and her eyes were fucking intense. And I feel like only in memory do I understand she was probably furious with me, snapping pictures. But then a corpsman said to me, hey, this is looks like it's your lucky day, because it's a big story. And that changed my whole night. So I attended to the story. My sergeant came with my camera, and that asshole. Well, I don't know, I took it on me I'm going to write the story. I'm doing the story. I'm writing this text. And yeah, I took a serious approach to it all the rest of the night. We got all these, it was like, I'm not going to call it a slow day, but it was a regular, more, routine stories and stuff. And then all of a sudden, you get these notifications for blood. We need B negative, we need A negative or whatever. And we get a few of these, and all of a sudden, we need all types of blood. If you have blood, come to the surgical center. And airmen and National Guardsmen and Army soldiers and Marines and sailors are stretching in line all the way outside of the doors and around the building and stuff. There were a lot of victims, and they were all being triaged and stuff. There were just people everywhere that were kind of fucked up from this bomb blast. A guy drove into a mosque as it was letting out. So anyway, as a young person, that made a big impression on me. So I've confronted my mortality. Other things happened there. Other people died, that we knew and stuff. or other young people. I remember just seeing a Marine dead on the table, and he's wearing my uniform, you know, something about that. Or I remember even years later seeing my nephew playing on a video game, and it's like, I'm not a video game guy, but apparently, you know, they've made the war look modern, and they got guys wearing our uniform, and it's like he's shooting at guys in the uniform that we wore, you know what I mean? And it's just a video game to him. Yeah, I'm sure like people who grow up on their video games, they might think they're ready for fucking war, right? Well, I just say, those who get away with posturing, strip away their title or strip away their, you know, put them in a position where you can't posture your way out of it. See what happens in a crisis. And the person who has to adjust to others and not just get to expect everybody to adjust to them, that person knows the first rule of don't add to the commotion. Is there a sniper in one of these windows? I had to take a long walk one time from truck to truck after an all-night mission where we had, I'm talking about my service experience, I guess now. That's fine. It fits what I made a theme out of here. But we had guardian angels, you know, our own snipers. And I can't really account for every single window. I just simply have a job to do, and it's not, it's like the ability to know what isn't relevant. Like the shit falling from the light post. Ooh, what's that? Doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter, you know? I'm not going to be able to scan every one of these windows. I just need to get to the other truck. When sun comes up, you know, that was a dangerous area. There's a guy who had been shot in earlier, and there's this contract sniper who apparently he was good. He was a Chechen sniper, and he kept getting away. I don't remember if that was him or a different guy. But anyhow, how can I close this? Booby trapping the woods. Oh, hey, I wanted to say about, so I told about my own deployment experience, but I wanted to say that there was another Marine. He was a good Marine too, and he was in my field as well. He was a combat correspondent. He was more gung-ho. He wanted to get out there. He wanted to get in the shit, you know what I mean? And he was with a guy who got lit up. I don't know if it was AK fire or what, but this guy got smoked. Like a guy who like let him borrow his Gore-Tex or something. This guy came back like not his lovable self, you know. He was a little down. They put him on meds and stuff, and I blame that. But anyhow, if you can't bend, then you'll break. So yeah, I bend ahead of time. Like my grandma will pass away, you know. I can integrate that ahead of time. I can pay the seriousness ahead of time. So I've confronted my mortality on plenty enough occasions. I went back to a small town family after those experiences, feeling like they have no regard for the fragility of life. But don't you look extra fucking confident until that crisis comes. And some people break instead of bend. I'll do one more story about Iraq, okay? There was a mouse in the fucking SWAT hut. There was a mouse in the house, and he had come out in the daytime. We've been trying to get this mother effer. And, well, I didn't really want to kill him, but if you give me the order to do it, I could make myself do it. And so he's around my boots and stuff, and I'm asking my sergeant, who might be a little too much like what I'm saying about people who get away with posturing. Like, I'm with the worker bees, you know what I mean? Me and a couple guys, we're putting out the product. This guy basically sends a sit rep that says what we did. He did some work too. He did good work, quality work, but we were the workhorses, right? Maybe me least of all, but my quality was high, which is why I get the medal for my job proficiency, which I didn't need to brag about that, but I can. So I'm asking him about this mouse. It's like all around my feet. I could stop this mother effer, you know. And I'm like, should I stop him? Like right in here, you know. It could be a dirty ass mouse, you know. Probably not though. Probably the city mouse is the dirty ass mouse. The desert mouse, probably not so much. But I'm asking him, should I stop him? Should I stop him? He can't fucking think. He couldn't fucking think. He is a Marine, so it's like he still knows what to do. But I'm communicating on the spot. You want me to do it? Want me to get him? And he's not like a girl who's going eek and standing up on his chair, but he's aroused by the situation, obviously, you know, and he's not processing the information. I could have stopped that mother effer. We ended up getting him anyway. But right afterward, I was like, I kept asking you, why didn't you tell me? You know, I'm looking for the order to kill because I don't actually want to do that to the mouse. But don't think that I don't know. Don't imagine how strong you are just for never confronting your mortality in the first place. So, if I know I might find myself in mourning, you know, I don't know, I volunteer myself for the distress. I'm a writer. I volunteer myself for the cognitive dissonance. I challenge the hell out of my preconceptions. I subject myself to terrible uncertainty, and it makes me look stupid. But what I put forward, you might trust a little more than someone who feels damn sure of what they've not challenged their thoughts about. So the person in adjustment, that's a strong person, man. But damn it, they have to look weak struggling under the heavy lifting. If only we could all be so privileged to never have to adapt. And then we could just posture as a fit creature even without the adaptability that really characterizes the fitness of a human being. Know what I'm saying? Okay. I feel really good after quitting drinking. My hippocampus is going to get better, so I'm not so jumbled about, you know, in my what I try to speak about. But yeah. High performers, they get rejected from the workplace, but not just the workplace, the school, the family, and the church. And that's what they look like. They look weak. They do the heavy lifting. They're people pleasers. Don't mistake it for weakness. And don't mistake apathy for strength. To care, you gotta be strong to care. To just turn that off, you're actually making yourself stupid, in my opinion. To trouble yourself with the cognitive dissonance, that's real good for you. It just don't look good in the moment. But you can lose every single battle and maybe win the war, which I'm hoping this plays out in such a way. God bless America. God bless Americans. Let's never have a war on our soil, because you're not ready and neither am I. And your readiness cannot be measured by some shit that you have around you. You do not know what you are to respond to. The constitution of your character, though, will help you to, I don't know, to bear it no matter the circumstance. I don't know. Fitness and adaptability are supposed to be the same thing. Those who posture as fit really just avoid adapting. Those who, ex-convicts, veterans, and immigrants who get thrust into situations where they gotta adapt to everybody else and they often can't even afford a problem, they go through the difficulty of becoming this fit, adaptable, serviceable person. But they don't look it. They don't look it. So. Ooh, I would have bull rushed the guy. Yeah, right. Playing too many video games, some of us are. Alright. God bless the world. God bless America. And I'm just trying to find a way to close it. I don't know if I arrived at any pointful kind of message here, but it's one that I thought I ought to make. Take care now.